Good afternoon. I'm Amy Lamke. This portion of the convocation will announce the winners of the Social Ministry Convocation Awards. We will see a few videos, one for each of the major award recipients.
All right, give me a minute again.
Sure.
Rudy, there are chats saying that people cannot see anything.
Cannot see anything. Interesting.
While we're waiting for the videos to come up, I will go ahead and share a little bit of information that I have. For those of you, on the different awards that are considered the major awards, the International John Hook and Doris Johnson Awards. For those of you who are not familiar, John Hook was the longest serving member in the history of the Society of St. Vincent de Paul with 79 years of service. He answered God's call to serve when he was just 14 years old and remained an active and faithful member of St. Dominic's SVDP until shortly before his passing in the year 2000. As of ascension, John saw the face of Christ in everyone he served, committed to the belief that Christ is both met and served in the suffering and the vulnerable. Doris Johnson, the namesake of another award, was a neighborhood activist for many years while raising 6 children, guiding them to become strong community leaders in their own right. Doris founded the Neighborhood Assistance Center that is now managed by her daughter. She was a leader in the Coldstream, Homestead, Montebello community, founder of Adopt a House and the Quality of Life Center. Doris was a Baltimore City Public School Board member and a member of the Board of Elections and the Catholic Campaign for Human Development from 1972 until her passing.
Okay, ready?
Yeah, we're ready for the videos.
Okay.
I did at Asylum Women and now doing with unaccompanied minors. I think it's very present in the news with what's happened or what's happening in Afghanistan and now what's happening in Ukraine, and our work with asylum seekers, people who are fleeing persecution. It's, I think, in the last few months been more present in the media, but persecution has been happening all over the world, including in the Congo, Cameroon, other places that asylum seekers end up in Baltimore seeking services through the Asylum Women, where I spent the last 6 years of my time and seeking safety and community in the United States and protection from persecution. And obviously there's a role that we all have to respond in whatever way that we're able. And if it's not overseas, then it's here to those asylum seekers, refugees who've been forcibly displaced from their home country. During the last 6 years, my time of newcomers, refugees, asylum seekers, immigrants, some fleeing persecution, some fleeing climate change, how that's impacted their ability to make a living in their home country. So people come for a variety of reasons, but over the last 6 years, I would say the impact in making people feel welcome, even if there were things that we couldn't necessarily change or make better. For example, the many delays in the immigration process, access, affordable legal representation, housing, was procedures and protocols, asylum seekers being traumatized on their journey, separated from their children at the border when they would arrive, seeking protection, and then to layer on top of that the global pandemic. And so our work shifted a little bit. You know, we still had many successes in journeying with people on their through the process to achieve asylum or some other form of legal relief. And in that time, providing safe housing, advocating for children in school, providing food, access to medical care. But I think our presence through some really difficult circumstances, you know, the pandemic and these changes that negatively impacted asylum seekers on top of the trauma they already had experienced in their home country. I think the biggest accomplishment would just be being present, being a welcoming, safe place. And obviously I didn't do that alone. You know, the work of Asylum Women is only possible because of the support of our founders, the St. Anthony's, church, who maybe were more established in our community and wanted to reach out to others. So I think there have been many successes, but the fact that we were able to touch people's lives at a time where they felt especially vulnerable and without resources is a huge accomplishment. I think just by way of having the privilege of being with asylum seekers on a daily basis, people who have been persecuted because of their race, their religion, their ethnicity, their political opinion, and have been forced out of their home, the place that's familiar, their community, their connections, their family, and then to wind up in a place where they have to navigate the loss of all of that, the trauma of persecution, and then sometimes not being so well received by their new community. I think just remembering that, you know, the life and dignity of each person, and that people feel seen and understood.
As a nurse practitioner, well, as a labor and delivery nurse. So I was helping people give birth to life. And then I started to teach maternity nursing. So I was helping others how to care for people. And then later as a nurse practitioner, I was more involved in total wellness care, which I think makes a big difference in everybody's life. Because if I was interviewing them also about their alcohol and drug use and how they were emotionally, whether they were depressed or anxious, that influenced the rest of their life, their job, their relationships with their family. So I think that was a very important part of my life as I began as a nurse practitioner. It was also part of Catholic Charities on their board. I don't usually do lots of boards, but I was on that. And of course, they actually put into practice the Beatitudes. So they have 80 organizations that try to help all aspects of people's lives, the homeless, of course, and seniors, you name it, they take care of it. So I thought that was an important part of helping the local community in all those aspects of life. And of course, the church I go to, St. Vincent de Paul, has the homeless park right as part of our land. And so we help with the feeding of the homeless on Friday nights. And so that's also helping people in the locality. But I think even more important is working with legislators to end homelessness. So I believe that we need to work on both ends. One, ending the problem through legislation, and I call, write, email, even meet with my legislators to try to convey these important laws that need to be enacted. So I try to work on both fronts, the volunteer part as well as changing the legislation that actually could make a big difference on a global perspective. There's some of the more local things that I do. And of course, I also am a hospice volunteer. So I sit with those that are dying or support the family of those dying. So that's another aspect of my life. But I think a lot of the groups that I'm a part of, luckily through our church, have made a big difference. We have a green team, and I am an environmentalist, as well as the legislation for climate, trying to prevent the climate disasters that we have. I have, of course, an electric car and solar panels on my house and rain barrels and all the rest, and I recycle, do all those things. So I think I try to make a difference in my life and what I do. I work with, part of the things go into, I guess, more social justice issues, but we have a peace and justice team. And one thing we do is we have a wonderful parish, and we can ask them to sign on to any legislation. And usually they do. They say we collect more from our parish than most of the large parishes. And our parish is quite small, like I don't know, it's 150 people probably. But so we work on those issues. Same thing, we get people to sign from the green team's issues, as well as educating people with putting things in our bulletin. So we make a difference, hopefully not only in our own lives, but in other people's lives that we are associating with. Also, I'm in a Beyond the Boundaries group, which is part of the Archdiocese, and that's for inclusionary housing, which is definitely an issue that needs to be addressed with all the Baltimore redlining that's going on, and they're still going on. The other thing, we actually went and met with our legislators. Took 4 years to do that. We tried to get it in, we did win in Baltimore County, and we also won in the Maryland legislature when we went to Annapolis and finally got them to accept vouchers. So it takes a lot of work, but I think it's worth it in the long run to help people who are poor get the justice that they need. So I think there's a things in my life that I've worked with. I still, with the Black Lives Matter rallies, we stand on corners and hold our Black Lives Matter signs. Of course, people in my neighborhood, they stole them, they ran over them, but I nailed them on a tree. So they're still up there speaking for and we were in Dundalk last week. We got a few honking horns. We also got a few F words yelled at us for standing with Black people. So I think try to make a difference, try to get the word out about things that need to change and to work on. And our parish has done a wonderful job with Black lives being important. We've had 20 months worth. Every month we have a Zoom meeting. We have speakers, we read books, and we discuss them to try to take care of this issue on racism and systemic racism, which some people don't believe we have, but it's definitely systemic and we need to change it.
All right. We did not get a video for our last awardee, but she is in attendance. So we're going to ask her to say a few words about her work. She's here. Ms. Flora, you ready?
I'm here, Rudy.
Okay. I would just like to say a few words about your work or what this award means to you.
I'm very proud to receive this award, the John Hook Parish Award. I cherish the work that I do in the community, some of which we have made a significant difference. Sometimes it included just trying to stop the international speedway that's in front of Lockwaven Boulevard. We've had a lot of problems with the speed. And so along with our councilwoman, we have made a difference. She has come here to our community, knocking on my door and said, come on out here, we got the highway people here. And they began to assess the problem. So we're working on that. I'm really proud of the work that I do at the Center for Social Change. It's an organization that deals with special needs population. And we believe that the things that we do has made a difference for this population. They are part of the community, and the families are encouraged to be a part of their lives. I'm also proud of the work that we do at the Friends of the Library. We have been advocating for the library and the changes that you see in the library. We meet with the city government in our red and white shirts that says full funding for the Pratt Library. And we advocate for this. And some of the changes that you see in the community with the library and with the computers and the digital divide, we've been trying to narrow that gap. I'm also very proud of the work that we do at the League of Women Voters. Traditionally, we have been in the county and remain in the county, but as part of the membership committee, we have taken our work for the city League of Women Voters into the city. So we now have a presence in the city at our new office at Open Works. Come and see us. We'd love to see you. I really love my work. As Mary Bunton said, we love our work with the Racial Justice Circle. And yes, with the Black Lives Matter Interfaith Coalition, you can see us somewhere in the city or county every 3 weeks with our signs displayed. And as Mary Bunton said, we got a lot of thumbs up last week and we got a lot of FUs last week. And I love it because that means we are shaking them up there. We need to make a special effort to get back out there in Dundalk and let them know we are here. So I invite you to join us in some of the things that we do. And I thank you very much for this honor of having the John Hook Parish Award. Thank you again kindly.
So we just heard firsthand from each recipient of the major awards for some insight to their service. You can read more about their work on the Convocation website you visited today to access the Convocation. This next portion will recognize the recipients of the Bishop P. Francis Murphy Recognition Awards. The Honorable Bishop P. Francis Murphy was ordained in 1958. He was appointed Auxiliary Bishop of Baltimore in 1976 and served as Vicar General of the Archdiocese and Vicar to Catholics in Western Maryland. He co-founded the Interfaith Housing of Western Maryland, an organization that developed safe and adequate housing for low-income families. He was very active in interfaith dialogue. He served as a board member of the Interfaith Alliance, a coalition of religious leaders from all across the nation. Bishop Murphy spent his life bridging divides and ensuring that those most vulnerable in our society were loved and supported. I am now honored to present the names of parishioners who, when faced with the challenges of the marginalized and the underserved, offer themselves as vessels, pouring out the love of Christ in service to others. The following parishioners will receive the award for service. Glenn Rabutt with Immaculate Conception. Glenn serves as lector for his parish. He is responsible for the scheduling of other lectors for Mass and provides training and support to newer lectors. He facilitated the most recent synod and is member of the parish's Racial Justice Circle. Glenn provides rides to Mass for parishioners who lack transportation and helps others in need in many different ways. James Fabian with Shrine of the Sacred Heart. Jim has led the social ministry outreach for 15 years. He regularly facilitates distribution of food and clothing to those in need, coordinating with other churches and charitable organizations. His infectious spirit of giving has inspired many other parishioners to commit to giving and serving at Our Daily Bread and St. Gregory's Parish to help those experiencing food insecurity. Joan Coughlin, Jane Phillips, and Aidan Phillips with St. Alphonsus. Joan, Jane, and Aidan work as a team to provide service to the poor and marginalized in their generous support of parish social justice ministries. They take seriously the call to feed the hungry, clothe the naked, and care for the vulnerable with their dedication and commitment to the food pantry, clothing drives, and garnering support for the pregnancy center. They go well above and beyond the call of duty, contributing on a weekly basis. Their work evangelizes and promotes the cause of justice by example they set as a family and as a team, thereby inspiring other parishioners to serve as well. Amina Amadou with St. Anthony of Padua, Most Precious Blood. Amina is an amazing member of the St. Anthony family because of her deep spirituality displayed through her involvement in parish life. As a mother and grandmother, Amina emigrated from Nigeria to the US in 2005 and joined the parish. Her dedication and commitment to her faith shows each week as she volunteers her time to clean the sanctuary and the entire main worship space. Miss Amadou also serves at weekday Mass and Lenten Stations of the Cross. Dennis Myers with St. Ethanasia, St. Rose of Lima. Dennis Myers serves consistently every week organizing the food pantry. He assists with food distribution to help meet the needs of the individuals and families experiencing food insecurity, both within the parish communities and beyond. He takes into account dietary restrictions and diverse needs of each household to ensure whenever possible those needs are being met. He is dedicated and serves faithfully whenever called upon. Gregory Cleveland with St. Bernardine. Greg has been serving on the parish team that distributes 280 boxes of fresh produce to neighbors in need every Saturday since the fall of 2020. Greg arrives early, coffee in hand, meets the truck, helps set up for distribution, and even does the home delivery of produce boxes to neighbors in need who have transportation and/or mobility issues. Therese Wilson Favors with St. Cecilia. Every week, Therese is a faithful and dedicated servant at St. Cecilia's Soup Kitchen. She serves soup kitchen guests with grace and joy. In addition, Therese is a dedicated servant to the Oblate Sisters of Providence. For the last 10 years, Therese has chaired the OSP annual fundraiser. She is also chairperson for Oblate Tea, successfully coordinating with a team of individuals each year to bring joyous occasions to the Oblate Sisters. Joan G. Carlson with St. Francis Xavier. Joan Carlson's life is, and always has been, centered on helping and serving others. She is a member of the Parish Outreach and Advocacy Committee and the former youth minister. Joni leads fellow parishioners, youth, and their families to participate in service work with a variety of local organizations, such as Sarah's Hope, the Franciscan Center, Helping Up Mission, Viva House, First Fruits Farm, Mother Seton Academy, just to name a few. For her, serving isn't just about providing a good for others in need. Service involves making connections and getting to know the people being served. During the early months of COVID-19, Joni and her 94-year-old father made sandwiches together for the Franciscan Center. Her pastor says that he can think of no finer example of Christian service in line with the gospel than the life and witness of Joan Gentry Carlson. Dan Conley, Casey Conley, and Dan Reese with St. Gabriel. The Conleys, alongside Dan Reese, organized a food pantry distribution program that began on Palm Sunday 2020 to support those most affected by COVID-19. Coordinating with the Maryland Food Bank and organizing donations from Food Rescue, For My City, Farm Rescue, Panera Bread, and individual giving, they grew the program from the initial 500 families served to processing a whopping 5 tractor trailer loads of food each day. This far-reaching program has benefited those experiencing food insecurity in Westminster, Essex, Dundalk, Glen Burnie, Bethesda, and other areas. While demand for food has diminished, the St. Gabriel's Food Pantry still distributes 50 containers a day, 4 days a week to those in need. Dan runs his own business and is a foster dad to 3 in his family of 6. He also serves as St. Gabriel's Pastoral Council Chair. Dan and Casey are retired and spend most of their time working in the office of the food pantry, managing the day-to-day operations. Teresa Fernari with St. Ignatius. Although Teresa is now a parishioner of St. Ignatius in Baltimore City, she coordinated with the Social Action Ministry of St. Pius X, her former parish, to lend her expertise as a master gardener to support the Bioretention Garden Project in the spring and summer of 2021. Teresa was instrumental in training and educating volunteers on bioengineering, construction, and maintenance and its benefits. In the many hours she dedicated to this project, she professed the stewardship of creation principle of Catholic social teaching and encouraged others to live this principle through service. The parish is grateful for her incredible generosity of time, talent, and commitment. Joanne Motto with St. Joan of Arc. Joanne is an essential volunteer for the St. Joan of Arc Good Samaritan Ministry. The ministry serves those in need by providing food, crisis referrals, and financial assistance for utilities and medical prescriptions. As a volunteer, Joanne directly interfaces with clients to determine their needs and guides them in accessing government and community resources for assistance. She identifies requirements to the parish staff and makes recommendations for emergency support. Alan Poltinowitz with St. John Columbia. Alan was the first president of St. John's Conference of the Society of St. Vincent de Paul. Serving for 6 years, Alan did it all. He established the SVDP program and recruited a team of loyal and dedicated members committed in their faith to help assist neighbors experiencing financial hardship. He implemented a system that provides rental and utility assistance, grocery and gas gift cards, clothing, school supplies, car repairs, and referrals to other organizations and agencies. Alan was instrumental in raising money through parish donations and fundraising events, resulting in the support of nearly 900 calls for assistance and the distribution of more than $82,000 to those in need. Alan is also a current member and former Grand Knight of the Knights of Columbus and is continuously working on programs to help those experiencing poverty and other hardships. Jeanette Middleton Sudano with St. John the Evangelist, Severna Park. Amazing Grace Through Works of Love. As Executive Director of Giving Back, Linda's Legacy, Homeless Drive, Jeanette partners with local organizations and coordinates over 500 volunteers to directly serve the homeless in shelters and the streets, delivering each winter over 3,000 backpacks filled with basic needs. Jeanette actively recruits and trains parish families to experience the blessing of serving together. Most recently and extraordinarily, Jeanette's leadership has extended to the Afghan refugee relief, coordinating efforts for material, legal, educational, religious, and social resources, as well as ecumenical events to educate the public. Having lost a son in Iraq, her pastor believes her heart for Afghan refugees is an example of St. Luke the Evangelist's Sermon on the Plain, returning good and blessing in all situations. Catherine Welty with St. Catherine Drexel. For many years, Catherine has chaired the social justice ministry, providing leadership for many parish efforts in the local community and abroad. This has included weekend food bags for a local elementary school, mobilizing volunteers for a local family shelter, and coordinating support of the CRS Operation Rice Bowl. Veronica George, Ronnie to her friends, with St. Margaret. Ronnie's heart is for the underserved. She makes and delivers lunches for residents of an impoverished neighborhood and prepares dinner for those in need at a local homeless shelter and church. She works with the St. Lawrence team which provides financial assistance to prevent eviction, utility shutoff, and assist those experiencing homelessness. Ronnie delivers holiday gift and food cards to neighbors in need and makes rosaries and cards the parish provides to those residing in nursing homes and hospitals. Helene Perry with St. Mary of the Assumption. When you think of the social ministry at St. Mary of the Assumption, you automatically think of Helene Perry. She organizes the Giving Tree during Advent and coordinates with multiple charitable organizations to distribute donations. She spearheaded the Trash Bashers project and regularly participates in a Saturday morning community cleanup along several blocks of York Road near the church. Helene's diligence and collaboration with the League for People with Disabilities is now expanding the reach of this project. Barry Shetch with St. Pius X. Tirelessly dedicated to St. Pius X Parish, Barry is a mainstay of the social action ministry. Aside from his role on the pastorate council and other duties, he finds time weekly to gather all the food and gift card donations and deliver them directly to the food pantry. Barry also collects over 50 casseroles and delivers them to Our Daily Bread. The social action ministry at St. Pius X could not be successful without his service. Christina Engerman is honored here with a posthumous award. She was a parishioner at Transfiguration Catholic Community. Every year, Christina dedicated her time with the B. Gaddy Family Centers to provide those experiencing homelessness and underserved residents with a nice Thanksgiving meal, companionship, and bags of food to take home. Respecting the dignity of all, meals and groceries were provided to everyone who attended the event with no questions asked. Christina ensured that all were welcomed with compassion and made to feel comfortable. The following parishioners will receive the award for advocacy. Karen Whittington with Immaculate Conception. In addition to being an instrumental formation board member of the Racial Justice Committee, Karen Whittington serves on the leadership team of Immaculate Conception Parish. She is a member of the St. Vincent de Paul Conference and is chair of the formation committee for the SVDP Archdiocesan Council. She serves at St. Cecilia's Soup Kitchen, and in her own community, Karen assists with food distribution to those in need and shares vital information about how to stay safe during COVID-19. Regina Schmutz with St. Alphonsus. Regina leads the social ministry on racism. To engage her fellow parishioners, she offers insights and recommendations on articles, books, movies, and other materials that educate and inform regarding historical and current issues around racism. She coordinates with other organizations to offer opportunities for continued growth and knowledge, such as the redlining presentation and the roundtable discussion at the local library. Regina authors a weekly column in the parish bulletin on the topic of racism that addresses the Christian response. Michelle Bass with St. Bernardine. In 2019, Michelle joined BUILD, Baltimoreans United in Leadership Development, an interfaith coalition that teaches citizens how to advocate for themselves with elected officials and government agencies to create policy and positive change. Michelle attended BUILD training and since has conducted many one-on-one relational meetings with parishioners and neighbors. She now leads the community's efforts to maintain and develop what was once a vacant lot. She has spoken at large citywide BUILD actions, addressing the mayor directly on critical issues that affect the community, and advocates for the needs of the Edmonston Village residents. Charles Dorsey III with St. Cecilia. Charles Dorsey consistently demonstrates his attentiveness and commitment to the underserved, both in the parish and the Walbrook community. His dedicated work in advocacy gives voice to the voiceless and strives to ensure that all are treated with dignity and respect. He works with fellow parishioners in advocating for community members struggling through social and life changes. Amy S. Mason with St. Francis Xavier. As the current chairperson of the Parish Outreach and Advocacy Committee, Amy facilitates opportunities for parish advocacy. She continually seeks ways to educate fellow parishioners on current day issues relative to Catholic social teaching. She attends and invites others to participate in the social justice conversations sponsored by the Northeast Catholic community. She promotes parishioner advocacy by regularly sharing action alerts on topics like the environment, immigration, support for food production, and the death penalty. Amy keeps parishioners abreast of issues before the Maryland Catholic Conference and has encouraged many to attend this social ministry convocation. Amy's dedicated heart and persistence serves as a reminder that we can all affect change. Don Monahan with St. Gabriel. For more than 20 years, Don has managed the Social Action Committee. He conducts interviews with neighbors in need, requesting funds for utilities and or rental assistance, and facilitates food pantry distribution. Advocating for those in need, he has coordinated with motel management to grant extended stays while providing funds for rooms and food as needed. Ann Dulick with St. Joan of Arc. Ann Dulick serves as lead volunteer for several parish outreach ministries, advocating for the marginalized and underserved in the community. She coordinates parish support of the Welcome One emergency shelter, which provides a safe place to sleep, meals, wraparound services, and comprehensive case management. Advocating for the men and women of Harford County experiencing homelessness ensures that they are connected to critical resources needed for positive outcomes. And fulfills a monthly commitment to Martha Meals, an ecumenical group of Aberdeen Christian churches providing meals to those experiencing food insecurity. In addition, she lends her expertise to assist those in need with tax preparation within her community and her parish. Kathy Gross with St. John Columbia. Kathy is a social justice advocate of exceptional capability. Undeterred by the COVID-19 pandemic, she single-handedly revitalized a dormant environmental committee, leading the way for the St. John's Green Team, which in 2 years has rejuvenated the rain garden, stenciled storm drains, planted a pollinator garden, and worked with the local interfaith center board to green the worship spaces and offices. In addition, Kathy is the driving force behind the Afghan team, which is working to support an Afghan refugee family of 7. The team assists the family with food and clothing and connects them to the resources for transportation, medical, and job opportunities. Mary Louise Petrick with St. Mary of the Assumption. Mary Louise dedicates much of her time at St. Mary of the Assumption with the St. Vincent de Paul Conference, which provides emergency assistance of food, utility payments, and rental assistance to those in crisis. She currently serves as the SVDP treasurer. Mary Louise advocates for those in need by connecting them to other resources necessary to be successful through the CARES GEDCO program. Mary Louise is a primary point of contact to serve the marginalized and the underserved, and does so with compassion and respect for their dignity. Elizabeth Wagner with St. Pius X. Elizabeth developed the Giving Garden Ministry to keep people connected while serving the greater community. She fundraises from local businesses and develops reports to document results. One of the most impactful outreach projects she did this year was to teach people who come to the local food pantry how to grow their own vegetables in their own backyards. Elizabeth organized a team of volunteers to visit homes and build the raised garden beds. She has been highly successful coordinating with businesses and parishioners to advocate for those in need. Gertrude Scott, Trudy, to her friends and family with Transfiguration Catholic Community. Trudy has great care and concern for the many individuals who are homeless and living on the street in the neighborhood surrounding the church. She extends her hand in friendship and makes them feel welcome at parish events. In some cases, Trudy connects with a relative of the person who was homeless and stays in touch to ensure that they are doing okay. She regularly delivers food to the homeless encampments and is developing a monthly parish food distribution program. And now I'd like to share a message from Pope Francis. Our love for God and neighbor is our passport to heaven. Our earthly possessions are dust that scatters, but the love we share in our families, at work, in the church, and in the world will save us, for it will endure forever. Congratulations, awardees, and may God bless your continued service.
Father Rich, Bishop Bruce, do you want to say something?
Thank you, Amy, for making that presentation. And yes, we have with us Bishop Madden and Bishop Bruce. If you'd like to say a few words to our awardees, I'm sure they would be happy to hear from you.
Bruce, why don't you start off?
Just very briefly to congratulate all of you on just a wonderful service that you provide for so many people. What comes to mind are the words of Dorothy Day when she said, the greatest challenge of the day is how to bring about a revolution in the heart. And it's a revolution that has to start with each one of us. So that it's obvious in each and every one of you who received an award and recognition today that that revolution has begun, and you're really working to build the kingdom of God, the civilization of love. So congratulations, and thank you so much for all that you do.
I want to join my brother Bishop Bruce about and thanking everyone. It's overwhelming to sit here and to hear this this great catalog of goodness and ministry and charity and love. I was just thinking that this city, this local church, the people are so blessed by all of you. I mean, you have added to their lives. No words can thank you enough. You are examples to us, and you inspire us, each one of us, to try to be a better disciple of the Lord. And you definitely bring to life Catholic social teaching. They always say that Catholic social teaching is one of the best kept secrets in the world. And you just dispel that. You bring it to life and you live it. So thank you so much, and God bless you.
Thank you, Bishop Madden and Bishop Bruce. And again, on behalf of those of us who have put together this social ministry convocation, we congratulate and thank all of the recipients of these awards. It just reminded me of Bishop Bruce's talk this morning of being just more than encounter, but also immersing ourselves into the lives that people lead and making a difference in those lives. And so we want to thank you so much for all that you do and for being such wonderful witnesses to the good news. May God bless all of you. Rudy, do you want to, yep, we'll give a round of applause. There we go. Rudy, do you want to give us instructions for the next steps?
Yes. Hi again, everyone. Thank you for all you've done. Thank you for continuing to be here during this award ceremony. Now we will continue on with the PM workshops. So you go back to the same set, well, not the same set of links, but the same area for the PM workshops. The password is the same that you use for all of the PM early morning workshops and the lunch workshops. But that is the end. After that, we are finished, but there will be a message from Bishop Madden, a commissioning video that you will watch at the end of the workshop. So stay in tune for that. You will hear from Bishop Madden again, and enjoy the rest of your afternoon. This is it from us. Have a great day.
Thank you, Rudy, for all you did to keep us connected today. Thanks very much. God bless.
Okay.
Thank you.